Welcome to episode 2 of our very interesting interview series, the Big Boss interview series, which is examining businesses from all over Cardiff. We spoke to Sam last week from Sam's Holistic Beauty Corner, and we've got Sara joined with us today. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Thanks for sitting down and chatting to me today. I know you're really hectic, so I do appreciate you taking the time to talk us through what you do. Can you just jump straight in and do you want to tell us a little bit about your business first of all, what kind of products you sell and how you kind of run it?
Yeah, of course. So Vin Van Caerdydd is a wine business that's reasonably new, based in Cardiff. So we have an online wine shop, so you can order there, we deliver to your door. We also have tasting events, and on the weekend we're an outdoor wine bar that's recently opened Fridays and Saturdays, so that's quite exciting as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. And how long have you been running for then, since you had the initial idea to now?
Well, I actually launched in July last year during the pandemic, so we are almost coming up to the first birthday, which is going to be really exciting. I think we're going to have to do a big, massive event with balloons and all sorts of stuff outside. So yeah, from July until now.
Oh no, that's exciting, because it does, so much goes into just building the business and making those foundations as well. You've done so well to kind of get through the pandemic as you have. Do you think the pandemic affected you in a negative way, or do you think it helped kind of give you motivation and a bit of a push towards what you wanted to do?
Well, originally the idea for Vin Van was meant to be a wine truck that was going to tour Wales, that was going to go to Welsh vineyards, collect wines, and then open, pop-up wine bars around the country and help promote Welsh vineyards and Welsh wines. And so I started doing these pop-up tasting events in Cardiff, and that was what I was going to do. So I was going to launch into that just before I quit my job, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And then the pandemic hit, of course, I couldn't host any events. So the reason I launched in July instead of in April was because I had to completely change the business plan. So the business plan that I created was because of the pandemic. It was, online, contactless, safe way of getting wines and doing virtual tasting events, that kind of thing. Whereas now I'm slowly bringing it back to face-to-face events and some wine bar things on the weekends as well. So the pandemic absolutely affected everything that I had in mind, but I think it actually did me a favour, which I don't like saying, because obviously, the pandemic was a horrible thing, but I think business-wise, it made me focus and it gave me the opportunity to figure out a way to be more accessible for more people, not just maybe small people. So I think it did me a favour, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's nice to kind of take everything in your stride as well and make the most of the opportunities we do have. Kind of think on your feet, especially as a small starting off business as well. You want to get your reach out there as much as you can, really, and going online. It makes sense. It makes it easier to connect with your customers.
Yeah.
And with the name as well, Vin Van Caerdydd, what does that mean? And is it important for you as a business to promote the Welsh language as well?
So Vin, so VIN in French is wine, and you would pronounce it vin. And so combine that with van, it would be van. So originally it was a bit of a joke, you'd have this wine truck and it would be something along the lines of van, and I found it quite funny. Obviously we don't currently have a van at the moment, so it's just a bit of an enigma, I guess. Caerdydd was added because I want people to know that you can speak to me in Welsh, you can use the Welsh language if you choose. And it is important because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm the only bilingual kind of wine business available in South of Wales. And it doesn't matter what language you choose, if you want to choose English, if you want to choose Welsh. The fact is that a year ago, you didn't have a conversation about wine, or, there were no wine tasting groups or wine tasting events available in Welsh. And so that's why I decided to put Cardiff, because Cardiff would be so much easier just to start the email address. before. But I decided Caerdydd is quite important to let people know that you have an option. You're not excluded by your language. If you want to choose English, if you want to choose Welsh, you know, you've got room in Van Caerdydd.
Oh no, I do. I think that's lovely. And it's crazy as well that you're one of the only like Welsh speaking or bilingual ones in South Wales. I always think myself I should have taken more time to learn the Welsh language because I'm Welsh, but I don't speak Welsh.
Yeah, but as long as you know cwrw, you know beer, you know wine, you know thank you. Fine, it's all good. It's all good.
And how have people reacted to your business as well? Have you had a lot of support from family and friends and the wider community as well?
Yeah, so family and friends obviously have been really, really helpful. I've had my brother's girlfriend help me on during shift sometimes if I need a couple of extra pairs of hands. The Welsh language community as well. I've been contacted by S4C and other Welsh language organisations because of, again, being a Welsh language or bilingual wine company in South Wales. But then I think more recently, locally, people who live nearby are really appreciating what we're doing because they might not be ready to go to town, they might not be ready to go to really busy pubs, and they're quite appreciating that we are stores laid back. We're not here to be snobby. If you want a glass of wine, you don't have to swirl it and sniff it and spit it, and you can just enjoy a glass of wine, and I'll do my best to find something that you like. And I think that's the reaction I've had so far, and that's what I'm appreciating. So I'm really enjoying it.
No, it's brilliant. Especially, like I said, the people who can't quite get into town yet, or anyone who's a little bit nervous, they've got it basically on their doorstep. And that's the great thing about local businesses as well. They're there in the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for yourself as well, if you've got a lot of, do you go out and purchase the wines yourself? Or, do you have a lot of say in what you do and don't buy? And is it quite fun as well if you do go to tasters?
Well, I mean, this is just me in my business. I say we because it sounds a little bit less all of myself if I say I. So I try to use a we as a business, but I'm the only one who has any say in the buying of wines, which is fun, like you say, in the sense that I can try different things and I can make the decisions. It can sometimes be frustrating because you still have to deal with people who get to know you. If my partner Steve is on site to help me with maybe delivery and loading, like that used to happen quite a lot during the pandemic because I was heavily pregnant and I wasn't physically allowed to lift things, and people would automatically think that he's the boss and think that he's the one who's making decisions about wine. But no, it is me, and that is fun because I get to choose, the best quality wines for the most reasonable price. Because I could easily buy in wines that would retail for £50, and they would be delicious. But you know what? People don't want to spend £50 on a bottle of wine. Well, not my clientele anyway. So I try and find that nice happy medium without compromising on any quality. And so it's it's hard work having to try all these wines, Laura, but someone's got to do it. And I do enjoy my job sometimes.
Oh, you do. You do a brilliant job of it. I caught some of your tasting videos through the lockdown. It looked like so much fun, and I did learn a little bit. Like you sounded like you really do know your stuff when it comes to the wines.
Thank you. That was before I got pregnant.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, because since you started the business to now, you've got a new addition to the family. How's that going? Is it difficult to juggle a business, or is it easier because you are self-employed?
I guess, well, it's easier being self-employed because I get to choose my own hours, obviously, but it's more difficult because I don't have a financial backup. I don't get, it's not like I get decent maternity pay or anything like that through an employer. So, this is by far, like, running a business was the hardest thing that I'd ever done. And then I had a baby, and then I realized, oh, this is even harder, and doing both at the same time is ridiculous. And I have so much respect for anyone who has babies, honestly, anyone who has kids, they have so much more respect for me now, but working at the same time is really difficult. And if anything, it's just highlighted the lack of support there is financially for people on lower incomes. You know, if you work in hospitality, there aren't nurseries available on weekends, and childcare is expensive enough as it is, but you know, we work on weekends mostly. So you're forced to find a very expensive childminder to look after your baby that you might not want to leave, but you kind of have to run the business. So yeah, it's not been easy, but I'm fortunate to have the flexibility of choosing which days that I work, kind of, and trying to find hours here and there to you know, I can answer emails at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not you know, the end of the world, but it has been a learning curve. I'll give you that, massive learning curve.
Oh, I think you're doing an amazing job anyway, because as you said, it's such hard work, you know, bringing up a little baby. And I suppose as a sort of matriarch of a house as well, a lot of the duties will fall to you if Steve's out of work or whatever. So you've got to always try and find that balance. But it shows your dedication too if you're emailing back at 3 o'clock in the morning. And as long as you know it's all done by the time you go to bed, whatever time you did it, it was done. And that's the main thing. So you're balancing it well.
Thank you.
And for you as well, are you like a big wine lover? Is that why you've gone into the wine business? And if so, what's your favourite kind of wine?
Yeah, wine is something I got into while I was living in Spain, mostly because you drink a lot of wine in Spain. And then when you come home, and I'd go to the pub in Cardiff and I'd go, oh, can I get a glass of red? Doesn't matter what it is, because that's what you do in Spain. And it would taste like piss. And you're like, what is this? And how is it so different? And so I started researching and started doing some qualifications in it. And so, yeah, and I really got into my wines. And so favorite wines is difficult because it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like saying your favorite foods. You can have something that you go towards, but, you know, depending on the time of year or depending on how you feel, you might be up for something else. So for me, red wines, I really like a great variety called Monastrell that's grown in Spain, like southern Spain. So it's really nice, juicy fruits, but quite full-bodied. White wines, I don't like the classic New Zealand Sauvignon, stupidly dry, stupidly acidic wines. Maybe that's because when I was pregnant, I had such bad acid reflux. It's just, you know, I'm traumatized by it. So I like really more full-bodied whites, if that makes sense. So I like a Viognier and I like a Fiano and I like a white Grenache. And if you don't know what any of these are, that's fine. But like, come and do some tasting events with me and you'll learn about them, and you know, in a non-snobbish kind of way.
Oh no, not at all. I'm so keen to get to a wine taster as well. I feel like it's one of them things that I've always wanted to do with a couple of my friends or whatever. You see it on a lot of films, don't you? Yeah. And I want to take it off my list. I want to know what the experience is like.
You should. I mean, we're opening up outdoors now, so I'm sure we can do an outdoor event soon.
Oh, that'll be brilliant. We'll have to look out for that. And we're running out of time as well, so we'll just quickly check in as well how people can follow you, and yeah, any future plans as well that you've got.
So the website is vinvancaerdydd.co.uk, so you can order wines from there. It also has all the information about any upcoming events or changes in opening hours or anything else that's going on. We are promoting Welsh vineyards every month, so we have a Behind the Vine campaign. Every month we focus on a different Welsh vineyard, and usually we have a tasting at the end of the month, virtual or in person. But we do lots of different things. You know, we do in-person events, we do private events. So if people want to, you know, do a virtual tasting with some people that they can't get in touch with, or if you've got a small party or something that you want to do something, then they can get in touch. And I can cater for that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Everyone, make sure you follow up the socials and keep in touch with everything that Vin Van Caerdydd are doing. And they're an upcoming business and they're absolutely smashing it in Cardiff.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you soon.
Cheers, Laura.